Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Joni Misiak. Today, I have another special episode for you from my Wowness podcast. It's a private podcast that really usually only my members get to listen to. So you are in for a special treat. This one is called The Power of Me, where it's really just, talking about when we take care of ourselves and, just how amazing you truly are. So anyways, I'm not going to spoil it. You get to just go get comfy and have a listen. I hope you enjoy. Thank you again for being here. And yeah, just enjoy this episode, or I hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome to the Wellness Podcast with me, Joni Misiak. Today, I want to take you back to 2007. I was working in a warehouse full-time, and I also had a part-time job. Part-time working as a fitness instructor at a dance studio. And I was having a good time, but I also was very stressed out. I would go to a town or a city, like an hour away or whatever, and karaoke with some friends on a school night. And then I would come home in the morning. So I'd drive, in the early morning, because I'd be working at 7 or 8, I think, at the time. It changed all the time. I was wearing myself out. I was literally burning the candle at both ends. I would be eating chocolate bars out of the vending machine. Mars had like this bar where it's like, it will give you energy. I was literally eating those to stay awake because I was partying at night and working during the day. And then sometimes after my first job, I would go and teach as well. And I loved the teaching fitness classes. The thing is, looking back at that, I wasn't doing much for me. I was hanging out with friends that loved karaokeing, and I loved doing that, and it was a fun time. But it wasn't the only thing I wanted to do. And I was, just hanging out with people and just doing things, not necessarily because I wanted to, but because they were. And I was like, hey, let's have a good time. I'm going to share something. I don't know if I've shared this with many people at all. So I used to say to people that it's like there's 52 weeks in a year. So it's like, I don't want to just live on weekends because that's 52 weekends that you have available. I'm like, I want to live every day, which is a really wonderful way to live. But what I was living, where I was going from one job to another, I was super in people pleasing mode back then. Huge. Like I would just hang out and do the things that people wanted to because that's what they were doing. And of course I was enjoying myself, but something super huge and important was missing. I wasn't taking care of me. Oh my goodness, not on any level. Not enough sleep, not eating healthy. Some of the times I always packed a lunch. But of course, if I'm only getting 3-4 hours of sleep, not going to be picking the right choices in a vending machine. So it was bad. Now, if you're there, there's no judgment. I didn't even know what I was doing in the time. I was having a good time. I, was in my early 20s, so having a good time. And it was fun. The thing is, though, my emotions would be very all over the place, or maybe, actually, you know what? To be honest, back then, I didn't have any emotions. I numbed myself out with no sleep, with chocolate bars, with socializing and doing things and just being so busy that I didn't even know who I was, what I was doing. Like I had no idea that I was in people-pleasing mode, that that's just what I was doing. I had no idea. So let's fast forward to 2008. And I was still at the same job and I was still teaching fitness classes. However, I finally realized that it's about me. My life is about taking care of me first so I can figure out and help others as well. So I had a breakup in 2000 and at the beginning of 2008, and that really gave me a good shove, just gave me a big shove. Life gave me it was amazing. So grateful for that life lesson. I just realized I was in such a dark place. And I was like, I need to take care of me now. And then it was finally what do I need? And little by little, bit by bit, piece by piece, I finally was picking up the pieces of my life. And it took time and sweat and tears. I probably finally cried. I don't know how many years I went without crying. A lot. I stayed so busy. All the feelings were just under the surface. And at any time, if feelings did come up, they would come out as anger. I'd explode over everybody because I was so sad inside, but it came out as anger. It's so powerful to have me time. When we allow ourselves to allow ourselves the time to get to know ourselves better, to really hear what we're feeling, why we're feeling it, what do we need right now? We can go through life without feeling, or we probably are feeling things, we're just not taking it in. Or we're actually taking it in too, but we're not letting ourselves feel them. Life is a busy, fun, amazing, beautiful journey. Or it can be oh my goodness, pull your hair out kind of journey. Depends on which way you look at it. And allowing yourself to have me time, though, gives you the power, empowerment, really, to live your life on your terms, to love really unconditionally from a place of awesomeness. The more we love ourselves, the more we can let others love us, and we can also love others so much more. It's incredible what can happen when we allow ourselves to have some me time. And I don't mean just sitting in front of the TV, because that's another way of numbing our feelings. Now, I'm not saying TV is a bad thing and you don't watch TV. Just being mindful of when you're watching TV and why you're watching it. And same with food, right? Food can be fun. We celebrate around food. We do things, but it's being mindful of why we're eating. And actually, to be honest, this past year, or few years really, is there's been a lot of stressors, right? So I had to be mindful too. I'm not really a stress eater, but I noticed that I actually started to be one. So just being mindful, no judgment, no blame of anything, being mindful. And that's one of the reasons it's important to have me time. When you're spending time with yourself, you can ask yourself those tough questions, or being mindful of why you're doing something. When we're flying through life, not pausing for anything, we have no idea what is going on anymore. It's a whirlwind, right? So when we're having, life happens. I have 2 kids. It can get crazy. In those crazy moments, one of the best ways to reconnect with yourself in the present moment is breathe. So you can just take a nice deep breath in and out. There's different techniques. I'll share with one of them. It's really, really good for stress. So if you're finding yourself getting caught up in the days of life of stress, and maybe what I described as my life of passing by maybe really resonates with you right now. Try and bring some breathing into your life. So it's square breathing. So you breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and then hold without inhaling for 4, and then you repeat. You do that for 1 or 2 minutes if you can. And it really just, it's so good. Breathing is so good for our systems, nervous system and things like that. It really helps us connect to our present moment. And hopefully at one point I'll go even deeper into the breathing. Maybe we'll even do a course in here of breathing. And if people like, so let me know what your thoughts are. You guys are helping create this membership and this podcast. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. I would love to share. That's why we have a form to chat, and I'll try and be there when I can. And yeah, so let me know if you want to know more about breathing. So that's one way to really just bring yourself back to yourself in the present moment. And it's just allowing yourself to have me time here and there. You know, one thing I recommended to clients before, and it's really worked, is if you're working in a place where you're surrounded by people that are not your peoples, you know, they're negative and you're just like, I have nothing in common with you, is take some time in your car. Or like, that's what I used to do when I worked in the warehouse I mentioned. Eventually I would do other things. I get my butt out of there. Or, because it was a negative environment, not going to lie, it was super negative. I would just read at the break table. But if you can get yourself out of the building, it's even better. You know, go to the car or go outside if it's nice and just find a quiet moment and just be with you. And I've mentioned this before about self-care and your self-love journey and things like that, is journaling. Journaling is a really good way to have a dialogue with yourself. So it's a really powerful me time where you can just be like, what am I feeling right now? You might not even know what you're feeling, but you write that down in your journal. What am I feeling right now? And oh, bada bing, like, wow, things can come up. If it doesn't though, don't worry. It's okay. So it's okay, like if nothing comes up. When you journal, you might just sit. It's a good time to meditate or just focus on your breathing. And those might come up, or you can just start writing things like, oh, the sky is blue today. Oh, the grass needs mowing. Oh man, like you could just keep going. And eventually resistance might wear down and something will spill out. So allowing yourself, and we've been like, this is the month of like getting back to you and things like that. So, you know, I may be starting to sound like a broken record a little bit. I'm hoping to share different techniques throughout every episode. However, it is going deep into taking care of you this month. It's, you know, a solid, amazing foundation for any other work you do. So allowing yourself, just having those moments for you, because it's powerful. So let's go back to my story so it's 2008, and I literally spent a whole year getting to know myself better. Like, who am I? I was lost hanging out with other people. I was so busy. I don't even know if I had goals back then. I was so busy just living, being boom, 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 boom. And I was just on go all the time. I had no self-care. I might have been having a bath because that's what I was taking a moment, or maybe that was shortly after. It's a little murky there a little bit. However, like eventually in 2008, I fell in love with meditation. First, I had it was not good. So if you're struggling with meditation, please reach out. And maybe at some point I'll even do it, even if people don't share. But if you do, or if you're struggling, please reach out, and I will do a whole area of that, because that was hard for me. People kept saying like, oh, it's so important. I even saw Dr. Wayne Dyer on Ellen, and he was mentioning about meditation. I'm like, oh, this sounds good. Like, this is what I need. And then I try, and then it was so not good, and things like that. So, but I started doing meditation and yoga, something I used to make fun of. It's like, why do people have time to just lay around on the floor? Like, it was horrible. I was in a place where I had to constantly be moving. That's where I was. And then I finally realized I needed to slow down. And at the beginning of 2009, so 2008, beginning of 2008, I was like, oh, I need to like get myself together. Like I need to figure something out. 2009, beginning, it was January. My sisters and I don't know, my brother might have been there too. We were watching Yes Man with Jim Carrey. And it's like where he has to say yes to everything. Anyways, it really resonated with all the work I was doing. And I'm like, yeah, why aren't I saying yes to more things in my life? And it was a really beautiful thing. It also clicked something else inside of me where I finally realized that I was enough. I was enough, just as I am. No fixing required. Keep obviously getting to know myself better. But I realized I didn't need to be in a relationship, something that for my whole entire life I was searching for. My parents aren't the best at showing their love. Not their fault, just something I had to work through as a child and into my 20s. So no, I'm not blaming them, but it was like a very eye-opening moment. And I was searching for love then because I didn't feel it anywhere in my life. I didn't know how to love myself. I didn't have the best examples. So I was looking. I was like, well, if a guy, dates me, then that means I'm lovable, right? So I was in those moments. So in 2008, when I finally realized I was enough, I knew I didn't have to have a man to make me worthy. That's like, okay, finally, I'm worthy enough because somebody loves me. I was finally starting to love myself. That was a really big eye-opening moment for me. This is the power of me time. Slowing down, getting to know yourself, reaching out to support systems, especially if were like me and you have no support like I had growing up. I was reading a lot of books, and honestly, I wish there was a membership like mine. If that's why I created it, that could have helped me back then. A place to go. And maybe there was, but I wasn't aware of it back then. I knew of Dr. Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay and Robin Sharma. Those were my three main peoples that I followed, and there's some others, but those are the three that really stuck with me on my journey. And I would have loved to have had a place to talk to other like-minded people. Because honestly, I didn't have a lot of people in my life that were, around. If I talked to my friends, they probably, or no one was talking about it anyways. They might be doing meditation. I shouldn't say they weren't, but it always felt like no one else is doing what I was doing. Meditating, yoga, journaling, getting to know myself. I was reading a lot of self-help books, personal development, and, self-discovery. And I just felt alone. And I was listening to a lot of talks on my MP3 player back then while I was working. And I was filling myself up wherever I could. I worked in the warehouse where I literally was working by myself most of the time. So I had, lectures going on in my ear nonstop. But anyway, so 2008, finally, over a year of just focusing on me. Now, I know that might not always be possible where we can make ourselves, again, I was in my early 20s, didn't have a lot of responsibilities back then. Just 2 jobs to show up for and bills to pay. And I was living with my grandma, so I didn't even have to have the responsibility of a house and things like that. So very low responsibility. So you might not be at that level where you can focus fully, but wow, what the power you have within your hands, within your heart, within your mind and body to take care of your life and you. And understanding the 2008, where I was I am worthy. I don't need a man. And then how the story goes is actually a week later after I literally was I don't need a man. I am amazing on my own. I am good. I'm not even gonna go look. I ran into a man named Alex who is now my husband. So it's amazing what works out that way. And I was, back at that time, I was before that year, I was longing for a partner. And I'm glad nothing else worked out because I would have been from a needing place instead of a healthy, loving place where it's I want to share a life with you, not you are a part of my life because I need you to make me feel worthy and enough. So it came from a more loving, awesome place. Obviously, I still had a lot of healing to do. It was still fresh. And even to the day, there's a lot of healing I need to do. Life is a discovery, life is a journey, and it's about progress. So little by little, day by day, we get to know ourselves better. We get to like go, wow, this is awesome. Like, isn't that awesome? A year later, like working on me and then saying, nope, I don't need a man. A man showed up. So I'm just saying the power of me time, the power of me. When you spend time with you, you get to know yourself. And it just feels good to know that you're doing things in your life and you're making decisions based from a place of like coming from a place of love and based on what you want, not what somebody else wants or needs. Like you are focusing on your needs and coming from a place of love. I parent so much better when I'm in like a good grounded space. Things come out of my mouth that I'm like, did I say that? That was really incredible, right? Like when you're centered, when you're a place of love and in the present moment, I give my kids advice that I'm like, wow, I got to take notes. I need to take my own advice. I'm always trying to take my own advice. I give a lot of advice and honestly, I think it's pretty good advice. And sometimes I forget to listen to it myself. And then I'm like, whoa, I need to go back and do this again or, hit that reset button and do better the second time around. Anyways, so I hope this has helped. Remember, you are amazing. Allow yourself some time and space to get to know yourself better, to, get a massage or a pedicure or have a bubble bath or just go for a walk, whatever feels good to you though. We'll talk more about self-care and stuff where, you got to do you. Like I could just name off a whole list of things, but you know what you need. Or if you don't, you can take the time and discover that. It's fun. It's fun figuring out what you need. Because like I said, you can literally Google self-care activities and there'll be a whole list. But some of them might not bring you joy. I know people that don't like getting pedicures. So if you don't like them, they're not going to be on your self-care list because they're not fun. Or getting a massage, things like that. Like if you don't like it, there's tons and tons and tons of other things. So it's really important to do things that bring you joy and allowing yourself for some me time so you can quiet your mind, slow down, and really listen and connect with yourself. Because it's so amazing when you can go, wow, I am incredible. Wow. I am I am really improving from like 2 years ago. Like, wow, I've come a long way. That's really what it is. Like, wow. If you don't slow down and see where you were a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, you don't give yourself that chance to really realize how far you really have come. So I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Find some me time. Even listening to this podcast is a really good, amazing me time. So even just listening right now is incredible. Hopefully you've taken some notes or you've had some aha moments or wow moments. And I look forward to hearing from you and talking with you. And I will be back here again soon. Bye for now. Thank you so much for being here and thank you so much for listening. I am so grateful that you're here and being patient with me as I, pick up and rejig things that I've kind of made a mistake with. So thank you so much again for your understanding and your patience. And I just really hope you enjoyed this episode. Take care. I'm sending you so much love and I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.